Kafr Elsheikh Museum aims to display the original history and many artifacts that have been uncovered about it in Kafr Elsheikh Governorate. The museum includes 3 halls, which include the archaeological holdings that were found in the Great Buddhist Cemetery and the template area, in which a number of important artifacts were uncovered that embody the story of the conflict between Horus and his uncle Sex. In addition to other archaeological sites in Kafr Elsheikh, including the statue of the deity Horus and the falcon, is one of the most amazing statues that have been discovered in Egypt so far, and it's considered a unique copy that can only be matched by the one in the Edfu temple. A hall in the museum was also devoted to displaying the holdings that embody the period of the city of Sakha hosting the journey of the Holy Family during its visit to Egypt, in addition to displaying the history of science during different historical eras such as medicine, veterinary and pharmacy, as well as some topics related to the city of Fua, which has a rich Islamic heritage, as it includes all the cultural heritage of Kafr Elsheikh as the 3rd heritage city after Cairo and Rashid.
In the museum you will find the details of the contending between Horus and Sat. The conflict between Horus and Sat represents the ancient Egyptian vision of the struggle between good and evil. Osiris was born to the god Geb and Nut and married his younger sister Isis, and the god Autumn, the father of the gods, crowned him as king over humans. Thence his brother Set hated him and killed him and tore his body and scattered the pieces in separate places. But Isis sought for him and brought him back to life, where she became pregnant with his son Horus, and thus Osiris became the king of the underworld. Isis had to raise her son secretly in the marshes of Delta near Butu, far from the eyes of Sat and his aides seeking to kill him. And when Horus became a young man, he aimed the throne of his father, and thus he entered into a struggle with his uncle for the throne that lasted for 80 years. There are many accounts of this myth, all of which ensure that the victory of Horus over Sat was a symbol for the victory of good over evil, until the court of gods ruled the right to Horus, and therefore he became the king to whom the kings of Egypt had belonged in their Horus name. Osiris was the god of the underworld and the lord of eternity, and his creed granted immortality in the fields of bliss to the good only, without distinguishing between rich or poor. This belief therefore spread rapidly since the first intermediate period, when this concept was transformed into the Alexandria trade author Apis Serapis. Isis and Horus the child. Under the rule of Greeks and Romans, the Egypt myth spread with the ships and sailors, soldiers and merchants until it reached Britain and the borders of India to the east. In this period, Horus avenging his father was depicted sometimes as a horseman, which is the model copied in the Christian subject of a saint killed a monster, signifying the victory of good over evil as well.
The journey of the Holy Family in Egypt formed the core of the rich heritage of Coptic art and the religious practice. The journey is mentioned briefly in the 2nd chapter of Gospel of Matthew. The Holy Family remained in Egypt until Saint Joseph was told about the death of King Herod in a dream. The iconographic image of the journey has remained largely unchanged. It shows the Virgin Mary holding the Christ child riding a donkey and Saint Joseph on his feet. In the Delta, they traveled westward and they came to a place in Kafr Elsheikh, now known by the name of Sakh. According to the Coptic Church, when the Holy Family arrived, they were thirsty but had no water with them, and there wasn't any nearby to drink. Then the Christ child touched a stone with his foot, and water spouted forth. His foot left its imprint on this stone, which gave this sacred place its name, Bika Isis, the footprint of Jesus. It was discovered in April 1984.
Afterlife played an important role in the ancient Egyptian beliefs. Preparation for the afterlife began with the mummification process in order to ensure for the deceased his return back to life again, while the judgment began after the funeral and the arrival of the body to the tomb. The heart was weighed by the feather of Maat, the symbol of truth. Those who were right will proceed to the fields of Laru, but those of evil hearts will be casted to the mythical creature.
The Egyptian Greek medical heritage was preserved during the Byzantine Christian era in Egypt. Monasticism played a prominent role in preserving Greek medical teachings as well as introducing the concept of hospital nursing in parallel with religious medical healing. Public medical writings refer to female physicians and their surgical tools. All kinds of metal needles were used to close wounds after surgeries, as well as scissors or scalpels for the surgery themselves. Forks were used, for instance, to remove the dead fetus from the mother womb. The evolution of medicine and its tools continued in Islamic time with the increase and development of medical sciences and hospitals. The days of Ahmad Muturon witnessed the first Bimaristan to be built in Egypt, then Al-Mansuri Bimaristan during Mamluk Sultan Al-Mansur Klaun on Al-Mu'izz Street, as well as Al-Mu'ayyad Bimaristan during the region of Mamluk Sultan Al-Mu'ayyad Sheikh Al-Hattaba district in Cairo. These hospitals are also scientific institutes where medicine was taught and surgical procedures practiced, in which internal, traumatic, and mental diseases were treated. The surgical tools were needles, scissors, scalpels, forks, iron, masks, forceps, and birth shears, all useful for the piercing process to the cauterization of skin and wounds.
This statue depicts King Ramses II sitting beside Sekhmet, the fierce god whose very name means powerful. She was a daughter and protector of Sun god Ra. She is depicted in her most common form as a woman with the head of lions with the sun disk and protective Urus Cobra in her head. She is holding the Ankh hieroglyphy symbol of life in her left hand. Interestingly, like her Ramses II, his head is surrounded by the sun disk and Urus too, which is not common for kings. The king was the head of ancient Egyptian state and the source of all divine and secular powers. He was assisted in his administrative duties by the vizier, the top of official in ancient Egyptian strict bureaucratic hierarchy. The king was responsible for achieving justice, which he enforced by issuing decrees and instituting law. He was also the highest leader of the army. Kingship was central to ancient Egyptian culture, which appeared since the first dynasty due to religious beliefs, which were reflected in the king's royal titles. The hour's name recognized the king as the descendant and current incarnation of god hours. The two gods' name refers to the union and upper lower of Egypt and their titular gods in the one person of the king. The two ladies were the first gods Nekht from southern city Nekht, modern Al-Kab, and Cobra goddess Wajid from the northern city of Poto, modern toll of Al-Farana. The golden hour name refers to the divinity of king as Hour, the king of Osiris who defeated his uncle Sis to avenge his father and inherit the throne. The throne name, he of Sej and Pi, emphasized the king's dominion over Upper and Lower Egypt. His birth name was preceded the title of Son of Ra, which refers to the king as the descendant of the sun god.